Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to my subscribers. Today we are going to do a mini flippy flappy project and it will have some hidden pockets. All right, let me show you what the final project looks like and then we'll get started. So here's what the final project looks like, and it's a belly band closure. And let's take a quick look inside. It flips up and then we have pockets here. We have a pocket here. This flips this way. We have a pocket and we have a pocket, right? Then we have a pocket here. This flips this way. I always like to give you a notepad. And then we have a pocket here with some journaling cards. But we have two hidden pockets, right? You really can't tell that this is actually a deep pocket. And I've got some journaling cards in here. Let me just pull those out. So I have a journaling card and another journaling card. Let me set that aside. Then I have another hidden pocket here, and I have some journaling cards in here as well. All right, so I have two journaling cards in here. All right, so this is our project for today, and let's get started, and you'll see how I put it together. All right. For the base of the project, I am using a 65-pound cardstock. This is a craft cardstock, and it is 10.5 inches by 4 inches, and you're just going to fold that in half. And as you can see, I've already done some distressing. Then you're going to need 2 of these, okay? And I know my little bird is upside down. It's upside down for a reason. And you'll need 2 of these, right? And these are 10.5 by 5 inches, and I scored at 3 inches and 6 3/4 of an inch. Okay, we'll do some more measuring in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to open up my base, okay? Now I've already done some markings on here. This tells me don't put glue there. Okay, so I had my little birdie upside down because I wanted to score in a particular way where I captured my little bird friends here, and I'm going to use this as a pocket. So I'm going to turn this way to me, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a deep pocket and a side pocket. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to form the deep pocket. And I know I'm not putting glue here because I put 2 X's there. So I'm going to be putting glue here and here. And then I'm also going to put glue on the other side, but not just yet. All right, let me glue this down with you on camera so you could see what I'm doing. I'm gluing right here, and I am putting a bead of glue right here. Okay, so I am now going to form that deep pocket at the top. Okay, so I've got a deep pocket now, and that's going to be right here. I don't want to fool with it too much because it's still drying, okay? So now I want to get my pocket over here. So I am going to put glue on 3 sides and not where I have my little X. Okay, so I've done the measurements in such a way where you get a little bit of a frame, and I'm going to be gluing that down here like so. And you see you've got this frame on the outside. Okay, so I'm gonna press that down, try to straighten that up a little bit, get my pocket. Okay, so now I have here a little flippy flappy here. I don't want to fool with this too much. I want the glue to dry, and let me just wipe away some of the excess, and then we'll come back to this section in a moment, okay? Now, remember you had another one that had the same measurements, okay? So I glued this one going this way, and now I'm going to glue the other one going in the opposite direction. So I've got to flip out like this, okay? So what I'm going to do, same thing. I've got my X's at the top. That tells me not to put glue, not to put any glue there. So I'm going to be gluing here, and I'm going to glue here. Okay, so now I have my little pocket right there at the top. I don't want to fool with it too much because I'm waiting for the glue to dry. Okay, so to get my pocket here, I'm going to flip this over. I'm not putting glue there. I'm going to put glue here, here, and here. Okay, and it's going to be the same thing. I've got this little frame the way that I've done the measurements. Okay, that's going to be good enough for me. Okay, so here's my other flippy, right? I've got my little pocket at the top here, and I have my pocket at the top on this one. Okay, so I want to add a few more pockets to both of these. So I'm going to set this aside for one moment and give you a few more measurements. Okay, so I want some large pockets, and then I want a smaller pocket. So let me give you some measurements for this. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what I'm going for. So I'm going to create this panel, and I'm going to put a panel on this side, and I have a second one here, and I'll put the panel on this side. That's going to be the top. Then I have the flippy here, and I have this, and I'm creating another little panel, and I'm going to put that down here to create a pocket here. Okay, let me give you some measurements. Okay, for my little smaller panel, I have my cardstock. This is 3 3/4 inches by 3 inches, and then I have a smaller piece that is 3 1/2 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And these are going to get glued together, so you have that little frame on the outside, right? I'm going to set that aside. Then remember I had these two panels here, right? They're the same size. So you'll need 2 of these, 2 of these. Okay, now this is 3 inches by 5 inches. And this one is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. And that is so that you get that little frame on the outside, okay? And I did that twice. All right, let me set the scoreboard aside so we can start gluing things down. Now, depending on how you glue things down, you can create several pockets, but I'm going to keep mine simple. Okay, so this is what I mean by you can create several pockets. So if I decided just to glue down 1, 2, 3 sides here, I'm going to get a pocket right here, right? So instead of gluing this entire thing down, and now I just have the one pocket here, if I wanted an additional pocket, I would just glue down 1, 2, 3 sides, and then I'd have a pocket here, right? So I'd have this pocket and I'd have this pocket right here. All right, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to just keep it simple, and I'm just going to make the one pocket here. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be one panel, and I'm going to do the same with this one. And that is going to be good enough for me. You get the idea. All right, I'll put mine this way. So that means I'm going to put an X right here because I don't want to put glue there, right? So I'm going to do this. And this. Okay. Okay, let's get some of that glue off. Okay, so now I have a pocket here, right? And I'm going to flip this over, and I think I'm going to put the other panel right here, and I want my pocket here. So I'm going to put an X. And that lets me know I'm not going to put any glue there. Oh. Okay, so I'm putting this here. Alrighty. And let me wipe away some of that glue. Okay, so I'm going to let that set up, and then I want to work on this section here. Now remember, I said that you can get another pocket if you like. If I do it like this, where I glue everything down, then I'm going to get one pocket here, okay? But if I just glue down 3 sides, and I didn't glue down this side right here, then I'm going to get a pocket and another pocket right here, okay? It's whatever you want to do. If you want the additional pocket, then don't put glue there, okay? But I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to put glue all around. And I'm not worried too much about how neat I am or sloppy. It's a demonstration. Okay, let me get some of that extra glue out of the way. Okay, so now I'm not going to glue here. Okay, so I have a pocket here, a flap here, a deep pocket here, a deep pocket here, a pocket, and a pocket. Okay, so I always like to give you a notepad, and we're going to put our notepad right here. If you don't want to put a notepad there, perhaps put some pictures, or you can put pictures here if you didn't use an image or something like that, however you want to decorate it. But I am going to do my typical. I usually give you a notepad, and let me give you some measurements for this. So this is 4 sheets, and it's just regular copy paper. And I cut these down to, this is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And this little cover that we're going to put there, this is 3.5 inches by 3/4 inches. Okay, so we're going to do what we typically do. So you could either staple all of these together and then glue this on top, or if you want something that's a little bit flatter, let me just get my little paper towel out of the way. If you want something that's a little bit flatter, then this is what I typically tend to do. I start at the last page and I run a bead of glue. Next page, run a bead of glue. And then I'm just pressing that down. Another bead of glue. And pressing that down. And then I'm going to glue this across here on top. Okay, and again, the measurements are done in such a way so that you get that little frame. Okay, so I am just going to glue the whole thing down. And that is good enough for me. Okay, so before I work on the cover, I'm going to get some journaling cards in these things, and I'm going to get some labels on, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we have our cards in, we have our labels on, and then we have our hidden pockets that people really can't tell that they're pockets, right? So we've got some journaling cards. I've placed some journaling cards in the hidden pockets. I've got 2 journaling cards in there, and then I have 2 more journaling cards in the pocket down here. Okay, so let's work on that front cover, and let me give you some measurements for this particular card. And the measurements are 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay. And I'm going to stick that here, and I have a little another label, and if you look at some of the labels that I used, I've got prayer, I've got believer, I've got amen. So this can also be used as like a prayer pocket folio for yourself, or as a nice gift for someone. So I'm gonna stick that here, and then I'll get this on here. And you have the little frame on the outside, and I'm not going to aim for perfection too much because it's just a demonstration. And then what I have here, it's that same 65-pound cardstock, and then I have one of these. It's like a thin, like an alloy, and what I'm going to do is, this is going to be, it's going to be a belly band closure, and I'm going to stick this on top of it. And so I am going to get that in the middle as best as I can, and then I'm just going to wrap this around this way, and I'm going to wrap this around this way. And I don't want to make it too tight because I want to be able to slide it on and slide it off, right? But I don't want it to fall off on its own either, right? Okay, so I'm going to take some glue and glue that down. I don't want to get too close to the edge because I don't want it to glue to the stick to the paper. And you could certainly put a back cover on if you like, and it would be the same measurements as the front cover. Okay, so I have that there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use glue dots to adhere this onto here. So let me get that done, and then I'll come right back and we will wrap up. Okay, so that is a wrap. Okay, so this is our little mini flippy flappy project with some hidden journaling pockets. All right, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone, if you like this video, please share, please hit the like button, and please subscribe. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.